everybody, this is Tanisha, also known as Craft Tea of Craft Tea Creations, LLC. And I am here this evening to do a tutorial for you all of the companion to the Diva, which is the Dawn. I'm going to show everyone how I put this guy together. This is one of the kits that we offer, one of the silhouette kits that we offer at Craft Tea Creations. And I'm going to show you all exactly what I did to make this happen. Stay tuned. Okay, so first we're going to start with gathering supplies. And this is my Dawn silhouette. That's what we're using today. I also used a 9x12 sheet of foam, Mod Podge, black glitter, a chenille stem or pipe cleaner, spray adhesive, and a staple gun. And of course, there's a few other incidentals that you just gotta have when you're crafting, your glue gun, your paint brushes, things of that nature. But those are the basic supplies. Foam sheet, Mod Podge, glitter, staple gun, and spray adhesive. Also, you will want to color your silhouette head prior to adding any of the glitter or the adhesive or the SVG file that we offer with the Dawn silhouette. I just used a basic brown, and then of course I coat with a coat of clear acrylic to kind of seal the paint. But let's get started. All right, folks, so let me show you how I put the Dawn together. I start with a painted silhouette. First thing I'm going to do is his beard, because that has to be done with glitter. That starts with Mod Podge and glitter, basically. I use two sizes of paintbrushes. One's a little skinnier so that I can get close to the edge of my face. And then I have a paper towel handy so that I can clean up any excess on the outside without messing up his entire face. So the way I start, and I probably should have poured this into a bowl, but I didn't, so we're just going to go with it, is by adding Mod Podge to the wood form itself. So we're just going to basically fill in this beard area with Mod Podge. And I do believe that if you actually painted it instead of using glue or some other adhesive, the glitter would likely stick just as well. I use the Mod Podge. It dries clear and it just makes a good adhesive. And then once I have filled in this space, I'm going to cover this with glitter. And this is where I will use my smaller brush to get his mustache, because that's a little skinny and that brush was a little fatter. And it lets me get right up to my etch lines and fill this in so that we make sure his beard is good and covered. On my original, I did notice you could see a little bit of my etch line, so I am making a point to go right to the edge, if not a tiny little bit over the etch lines that come on the Dawn that I offer. So that's basically it right there. We've got that Mod Podge on. And now we do our glitter. Now, just like I do with the glittering the silhouettes, I put the face in a box. There is a piece of paper down inside of there. And I just sprinkle the glitter very heavily and I mean heavily, everywhere that that Mod Podge is on my silhouette. I've got him covered pretty good there. You can see that. I just go to town with the glitter and cover it. Okay, I let it sit for a little bit and then shake it off. And our gentleman has his beard. Now you can see a little bit here where I didn't quite get to the edge. Make sure when you're doing yours, you go all the way to the edge so that stencil line doesn't continue to show. I use a little paper towel to brush off the excess and make him a little bit nicer looking. But that's essentially how that beard goes on. Mod Podge and glitter. Now let's put his hair on. All right, now for his hair, I used what's called chunky yarn. This is made by Lion Brand yarn, and it's just the fat, fluffy yarn that is used for those chunky blankets, but it's called chunky yarn, and that's what I used for his hair. Now I cut several pieces. These are about 5 inches long, 5 or 6. You can make them shorter, you can make them longer, depending on how you want your gentleman's hair to be. But these are essentially put on with the staple gun. So what I do, I start kind of at the back. I do this on a hard surface. You don't want to do it on a wood table because those staples are going to poke out the back of this. So definitely do it on a surface that's safe. And I just use my staple gun and I start attaching his locks all the way around until his hair is full and looking good. So we're just going to keep stapling hair, and believe it or not, it fills up pretty quickly. I didn't measure each one of these strings of yarn. I just cut them. I figured, you know, it kind of didn't matter. It was his hair that didn't have to be precise since they are appearing to be locks. But that's pretty much what you do, is staple the hair on just like this, all the way around and fill into the top. Okay, so I just kind of keep going through here and filling in to make sure that it's covered. And I believe I have, I didn't quite get that one in. I believe I have about probably 25 little sections of this yarn. When the hair falls or when the yarn falls, it tends to cover your staples. So that's how his hair turns out. And then I add an eyebrow. Now on the original Don, I glittered the eyebrow, and I thought that might be kind of feminine. But what I do for the eyebrow, instead of painting, because I'm not so great at it, I use a black permanent marker. I kind of had this penciled out here a little bit because I really don't draw very well at all. And that's also the reason that I came up with the SVG file to help those of us that are not so gifted in the area of drawing. And you can put an eyeball on him. You can do his eyes any kind of way. This was what was easiest for me to give the appearance of a face without a whole lot of work, because that's just not my forte. So that essentially is how your Don will look. Now, what I did with this foam sheet, was I cut a little piece of it, very similar to my silhouette. I just kind of traced it, and I knew it didn't have to be precise because this is going over the back. But what I do is, the areas where the staples have poked through, I go to town with my glue gun, covering that. And then I add that piece of foam because that stuff is really pokey. Of course, it's a staple. And this just kind of helps. This just kind of helps protect it, safeguards people's fingers and hands. And then you can go ahead and just add glue anywhere. But I make sure I cover all of those little holes with a dab of hot glue. And then I place the piece of foam right over the back. And that covers any area where the staples might poke out. And you just want to make sure that's good and secure. And of course, let it dry. I'm moving a little bit quickly for the sake of demonstration. But that's the back. I also take a chenille stem pipe cleaner, make a little loop and twist the bottom. And I staple that because the wreath forms that we offer do not really fit on the back of this head. So I staple that pipe cleaner to the back of his head. And then I cover the staple and the pipe cleaner with hot glue. And that's what I use to hang the Don, because he doesn't have the same back as the Diva. So that's just a pipe cleaner and some hot glue and a piece of foam sheet. And I don't think it matters what type of foam you use or what color. On the back of the original Don, it's a different color, and the pipe cleaner. You can kind of do it however you want, if you want it to match what you've got going on here. But that is essentially the Don. Now, one thing I did do, and that's not quite dry on the back. One thing I did do was take a little bit of spray adhesive and add a little spray to the hair, kind of help the yarn stop fraying a little bit. And I also added a little sparkle to his hair. And when this dries, it looks really nice, but it gives a little shine to the Don's hair. Okay, do a little sparkle on there. Now for the collar that I used on the original, I made my collar match my Diva. The collar on my Don, as you can see, let me show that to y'all, matches the scarf on my Diva. Y'all can see those two go together. For the collar on my Don, I mean, you can use anything. A piece of felt, you just want to cut a rectangle, cut kind of in the shape of a collar, can go at the bottom of the Don. You can use a piece of felt. I had a leftover graduation announcement. You can cut this little piece of cardboard, make him a red collar. You can use colored craft paper. He could have on some denim. You can kind of use whatever you want that will complement or match your Diva, or not match the Diva at all. The Don can have his own style and his own look. They don't have to be a couple. But that is essentially, folks, how I put the Don wreath together. It is our silhouette form with glitter. Now, you can also do your Don utilizing the silhouette and the SVG file that is free when you purchase him, which comes as a sticker, and you just stick that puppy right on. It's an SVG file that will come free if you put it in your cart. Make sure you put it in your cart. And then you can just stick that on like that and go with that and add a collar and eyebrows and eyes or however you choose to do it. I did this one in black. I have my Caucasian brother in gold, but you can kind of to make it any color that you choose. But essentially, folks, that's the Don. Now, I didn't put a collar on him. This is a very simple version, but it's chunky yarn, glitter, and our silhouette. And that's how you put the Don together. I'd love to see some of the other creations. I hope y'all will share them with me of what you did with your Don and how you put whatever type of hair on. There's so many different versions, so many different variations that you can do with this. But this is essentially how I created this gentleman that matches the Diva. That's the Don in a nutshell. Thank you so much for watching. Happy crafting. Check us out at www.crafttcreations.com. Follow me on Instagram at crafttofkc. We're also Craft Tea Creations LLC on Facebook. Thanks so much.